Hi, I'm Lana,
And I'm Ivana.
and this is Real Estate Tips with SNL. Today, Ivana invited whom?
Mike Neilan from Focus Forward.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness, it's a dream. Mike and I go way back. I feel like almost a decade now.
Yeah.
A decade?
A little more.
I know, it doesn't show.
You guys are
2013.
really young
12
looking.
years.
I don't know, decade.
I know, but I was so excited to get Mike on here. Mike is a business owner of a media company, but I don't want to go ahead and steal your thunder. So Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your
Sure.
company?
Yeah, so my name is Mike, and I'm the COO and co-founder of Focus Forward Media.
Wait a minute. Focus.
Forward Media.
Oh, Focus Forward Media. Great. All right.
Yeah. And so we're a modern day video media production company. So we produce commercials, but we also do a lot of photography, brand photography, commercial photography events. And then we do podcast stuff as well. So we have our own podcast, and we do a lot of podcast production for clients too.
Wonderful.
So any kind of visual media we do that is used for marketing, advertising
Like
purposes.
videoing, videos and things
Yeah,
like
so
that.
commercials, marketing videos for the web, for social. We did a local Super Bowl ad, but we do a lot of sort of like interview style marketing videos that companies will put on their website, or like I said, on social media. And
Wait,
then
what was the commercial?
it was for a company called Kitchen Countertop Center of New England. So they sell countertops and cabinets,
Wow.
and they remodel like kitchens and bathrooms.
How did they hear about you?
So one of the now co-owners is my cousin-in-law, but we've worked with them on and off now for 4 years, maybe. He's worked there for the last, as long as I've known him, 8 years. He's moved his way up from, finance assistant up to, head of finance, controller, and then now he's part owner.
Cool.
So Mike, I really wanted to get you on here because, a lot of our listeners, as well as a lot of people in this day and age, are always looking now to kind of start their own business or maybe do a side hustle. And you are a shining example of somebody who started from the ground up, partnering with where you needed to. Really, I remember in college just trying to get a night's sleep, visiting my, husband, and he's grinding from like middle of the day till 2 a.m. and it all paid off. So I really wanted to pull you on here to kind of talk about what it's like owning your own business, regardless of the industry, regardless of the, form of services that you provide, and really kind of dive into, I guess, how you got started, what made you kind of want to start your own.
Yeah. The sort of story of it goes really far back. So it's going to be a little long, but so I grew up skateboarding. That was my passion when I was a teenager. Loved skateboarding. So me and my friends would go to skate parks and go around town and skateboard and whatever. And one day I got hurt. I fell and hurt my ankle. Very common. It's very, very easy to fall and get hurt in skateboarding. So so I got hurt and couldn't skate for a little bit. And so at the time, a lot of people started getting cameras and would make skateboarding videos.
All right.
So I thought that was cool. So I said, oh, cool. Why don't I, since I can't really do much, I'll just get a camera and I'll kind of follow you guys around and I'll just make up some cool videos of us doing tricks and stuff.
Are you using a phone? Are you using a camera? What are you using?
Like it was like at the time, it was like a little handheld camcorder.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I did. So I got a camera and I started filming my friends, and we made some cool skateboarding videos, and then kind of fell in love with like making videos, filming, and then the editing, and getting creative with like using music and all the whole process. So then over the next year or two, I said, okay, my dream is I'm gonna go to California and I'm gonna be a professional skateboard filmer. So like these big companies, when we were, I'm not as much in the skateboarding world anymore, but when I was a teenager, all of the professional skateboarders like Tony Hawk, Ryan Sheckler, those kinds of people, they would be sponsored and ride for skateboard companies, wheel companies, all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
And they would get paid. And then on each company, they would have their own filmer, videographer that would follow the team when they're on tour or traveling to make videos. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to California and I'm going to be a professional skateboard filmer. And then I didn't get too discouraged, but just a little discouraged learning that they don't really make much money.
Oh, no.
But I was like, you know what? I'll have so much fun and I'll live in California and that would be amazing.
What experience.
Yeah. So I was pumped. And then I said, well, I should at least still probably go to college. So I went to college, and my freshman year, I got an internship with a production company. Not for any credit for school, just to get the experience. I've always been a hard worker. My mom like really instilled in me like a really hard work ethic. So just wanted to do it to do some work and get experience and learn in the field. So worked at this company and was an intern for a semester. And they did work in advertising. And I always thought I would hate advertising. I was like, there's no way I would enjoy making videos of companies. Like, that sounds so stupid. And so I interned with them, and I actually was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. Started working with them in editing and, on set and stuff, making commercials. And I was like, this is actually kind of cool. I think I like this. So that was.
But you're still an intern at this.
Yeah. Unpaid intern, just getting credit, learning. And so this is my freshman year. So, even in college, I'm just taking like the basic classes. You don't really take your focus classes until later. But I started to really enjoy it. I loved it. So then my next year, I started looking for work already. I was like, I'm gonna get a part-time job doing video stuff somewhere. So I was just like really loud. Like I would really put my foot forward with my professors and stuff and tell them what I wanted. And so companies would often in the area would come to the school and say, hey, like we're a local company. We don't have a big budget. And we're looking for help in XYZ. Do you have any students that would be interested in doing it as a part-time job for a low wage? And so this company called, at the time it was Rave Mobile Safety, that got acquired by AT&T. But I did some video editing for them on the side. It was like, I don't know, $10 or $12 an hour. But I was doing work as a video editor, and I was like, oh my God.
Getting.
Yeah.
At the time
great.
I was, I don't know, your sophomore year of college, were you 19, maybe 20?
No, you're
20.
definitely older than that. But yeah, you're probably like 21, give or take.
I was young. I was on the younger side. So I was probably, like 20 maybe. But oh my God, I thought I was on top of the world. I was like, I have a job as a video editor. So anyway, I go through college and I continue doing more and more freelance stuff. And then my senior year comes around and a girl comes in and says, hey, there's a couple that frequents my bar that I work at, and they're looking for somebody to film their wedding. Does anybody want to do it? They want a college kid so they can save money. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. I've never done it before. I'll do it. So they're like, cool. So I set it up. I did my first wedding. Looking back, it was horrible, but
Did they like it?
Oh yeah. They loved it.
Yeah.
It took me like forever and a day
Yeah.
to do. I like, now it's a lot quicker,
Of
but
course.
Anyway, so that was my first wedding. And then I just kept going. And so I, at the time, throughout that time I had met a guy who owned a marketing agency. So I started doing freelance work for his agency, for his website clients, making videos. And then I kept doing more and more weddings, got better and better. And so by the time I graduated college, I was really fortunate to not have to look for a job. I was freelancing myself, freelancing for the agency, and doing wedding videos. And I was making enough to live. So that's really where it started. And
so it's kind of just like working and making a ton of connections. Just kind of what you said. I don't really need to work under anybody.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah. It's crazy to, like, at the time when I graduated college, everybody's like scrounging, looking for a job, applying to all these places and stressing and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Looking back, it's pretty cool to be like, wow, I didn't need to do that. Like I was already working.
A little bit of, initiative, right? Somebody that's going to start their own business has to have a determination, a drive, has to get up every day, has to know they have to go do something.
It's like a disgusting amount of determination.
It is.
It's really,
right? I mean, we're self-employed and we created a business and people to understand to run their own business. I mean, I know people like in the HVAC or an electrician or any service provider, they think it's easy. And
Wish.
I think people need to understand, which is beautiful. It doesn't really matter the age, right? Because like you had no experience, right? You
Yeah.
started with nothing.
Yeah.
Where people that have some experience or at least some skill, there is going to be a period of you might work for nothing.
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
you might
So many
you might
times I
be
worked for
working so
nothing.
hard that you're like you can't make it your ends meet. But
Absolutely.
your determination is huge, right? And now you have your own
Yeah.
business.
It's like a sick obsession that you have to go through.
Yeah.
It's like unhealthy at times.
We all know it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember
Can't put
like
that phone down.
yeah, I just remember after graduating, when I was doing everything myself, there would be nights that I was up till 1, 2, 4 or 5. Sometimes I would even just work through the night until like 6, 7 in the morning to like finish work. And then I would go to sleep and then I would wake up a couple hours later and like do it all over again.
And I think that's like a big part of why I think it's so intriguing to bring you on here is like to talk about that unglorified part, right? Of being your own employee. Everyone says, well, I want to be my own boss and I want to make my own schedule. And, I just want to have no glass ceiling. But nobody talks about all the things in between that allow you to stay consistent, stay successful. And so aside obviously from grinding to day to night and having that, self-management quality about yourself, is there any other, I guess, insight or advice you'd give to somebody who really wants to kind of start that? They have the determination, they have the will.
Yeah.
They know it's going to be slow maybe to the start, but something that you didn't really realize you were going to run into as a employer who now, am I right, have staff under them. You have people on salary. You've got more mouths to feed than just yourself.
Yeah.
What you really recommend for, I guess, anything. Yeah, anything.
So a friend of mine who's a business owner as well, I was talking to him recently and he made a good point. I was talking about just going through, business ownership and over the years you fall in love with different things of the business. And so I would say at first to start a business, I feel like you really need to like be obsessed with and enjoy the actual work that you do. Like in my case, like actually shooting and editing videos. Like you have to actually really enjoy it. Now I still love what I do, but that's not my exact passion anymore. Like now I have a passion for like more of the business side of it. I like sales, I like marketing, I like talking to clients. I like the operations. So it's just, like I said, over time you fall in love with different things. But I think at first you really have to be obsessed with, you really have to enjoy the actual work of what you do. Because like I said, there was those nights, like I'm so grateful for Snapchat memories because every year on certain dates, these couple memories will pop up that I was working on weddings from 10 PM until 6, 7, 8 in the morning. After having worked all day. Like you just have to, and you can't do it if you don't like it. There's no way you're just going to put it down and screw this. I'll do something else. Like you have to actually be obsessed with it. And then over time you grow and you, like I said, you fall in love with the sales or you fall in love with the operations or you fall in love with whatever, the marketing. You'll find other things in it, but you really have to enjoy the work.
I think what I'm hearing from you is more so is that you never looked at the negative, like I'm not going anywhere with this.
Oh, you can't.
Right. Because I'm just going to step back. And so this is my 23rd year in my self-employed. And I'm not kidding you. And I tell you, this is the first year that I realized I am running a business. No, I'm not lying.
That's funny.
Because you're so trying to build that you don't realize that you are actually first an employer and you're also an employee. So you almost have to, you had a vision, right? So you have this vision and it wasn't about the money because you didn't have a vision of money. You just had a desire to, I love filming. I love doing this. So I oftentimes I think people that are going to start a business have to just find what they love.
Yeah.
And not worry about what's going to come in the return. Just keep focusing on that. Obviously, you got to make some money somewhere, but I get it. But you're focusing on that because you're going to get really good at that because that's your clientele that's going to follow you, right?
Yeah.
So then you realized you're an employer now. And then you're like, whoa, now I have to delegate. And I'm also an employee to delegate. And now I'm in sales.
Yeah.
So that's where I came in as well this year by saying, oh, I get it now. I get it. I don't have to do all of this. I'm an employer.
Right.
I can delegate and just take the things that I want to do.
Absolutely.
And then you become, it's not that the word is bigger, but you become more helpful to your clients because now you're focusing on the things that you really enjoy
and to
doing.
yourself.
And to yourself. And now that you can offer more.
Yeah.
And just be, and you understand where the person is coming in. You understood how it was working when you first started. You understand their needs and wants.
Right.
Because you went through the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really cool to hear and see the emotion that you show of it.
Yeah.
That it's not a struggle. It's more about a desire and a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not struggling through it, but really understanding you have to go sometimes through the pain to see the beauty.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think people get lost in the sauce a little bit. Like, oh, I love so many things. Well, you've got that drive and you've got that want and you've got that self-discipline. You see people, like yourself or so many other people like you that go, well, I really love this and I'm going to build an empire here. And I still love this, but I also now have, time has changed. Life has moved on. New cycles of life have begun.
Oh my God,
I can do this in a different field that I also am really passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's how you see these people who have, buildings, they have, or property, they have businesses, they have services. It's that innate want to just create and serve and blossom. So, all that is really, really inspiring. And I think you're right. When I ask, like, what is the unglorified part? You kind of have to glorify it all.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you just go, what am I doing it for? So that's...
Well, I'm sure there were times, right, where you were like, this is not going to happen, right? But you were like, I just enjoy it so much. Something's got to come.
I can remember like at times that I just would have rathered made what I was making doing what I really enjoyed than potentially making more doing something else or answering to somebody.
True.
Even now, still, I could probably go somewhere else and I could probably work for an ad agency and make a lot more money. But, my wife always makes fun of me. She's like, you can't answer to somebody, which she might be right. But
maybe you wouldn't be as successful for yourself.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you would have to limit yourself on some things, or you'd have to take away the creativity that's in you, right?
Yeah, and just that ability to, as an owner, I can come up with an idea and I can put it into effect. Mm-hmm. And if you're working under somebody else, you lose that.
Yeah, you do.
That's just one thing, but yeah.
Yeah. So I guess more into the technical side of it, right? So owning your own business with staff, with different forms of services.
Yeah.
How do you, on a personal level, how do you kind of structure that in, right? Like, you are your own boss in theory. You've got people you're working under. You've got a face to make, but being self-employed, it's very hard to find that balance. Mm-hmm. Do you still struggle with that balance? Do you?
Yeah, it's I think it's a constant learning curve. It's a constant thing that evolves. 'Cause like, I don't know, I think one of the most helpful things I've heard about that sort of balance was it's not really a balance. It's more of like a flow. Like there's going to be periods where I am super heavy, like family time and personal time. And maybe I'm just working a lot less. And there's other times where I'm going to be working every day until 6, 7, 8, or working till 6 and then working again at night, like every day for, a couple months or whatever. It's just, there's flows. Like, you're going to work a lot sometimes and you're going to be with your family a lot sometimes. And it's just, there's no secret code. There's no magic, formula. There's nothing I can tell you, or any successful person can tell you that will help give you that aha moment of like balancing life and
it's almost just learning to accept it a little bit.
Yeah, you have to. Like, I And I still struggle with it. So I have a 1.5-year-old daughter, and
She's adorable.
yeah, she is. She's great.
I'll have a picture of her right here or something.
She and so we're fortunate to have family that helps watch her a lot, so that we don't have to put her in daycare. But our one gap is Fridays, and I accepted that Fridays are usually a little more quiet for us. In the business world, a lot of companies are a little more quiet on Fridays, and so I said, you know what? I'm not usually that busy on Fridays. I'll just watch her on Fridays. I'll stay home and watch her. If I get some work done, cool. Over time, I don't even attempt to get work done anymore. She runs around like a maniac all day. So there's no work. It's all play. But I've just accepted that. And so, sure, there's still times that for us something might need to happen on a Friday and I can't be there. But at this point, I'm just, that's it.
I think you have to balance. Your balance comes from the support system that you have. I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You really cannot make it work when you don't have that support system.
You
So
need a
whether
team.
it's
Yeah.
it's not. It's more. I mean, you have your staff,
Right.
but you have your family support. Like you have to have that lined up because nothing worse than the relationships that fall apart, right?
Because on the business side, like I'm super fortunate that my business partner he's in a totally different boat. He's 2 years older than me, but does not have a family, but he's still like 200% understanding. He's like, dude, your family that's your family. Like that is important. And so I don't hear a peep from him on Fridays. He never bugs me if something's going on. He just takes care of it. He never guilts me for any of that. And then on the flip side, like my wife is a nurse manager. And she is really good at not guilting me for, being a business owner and working a lot sometimes. Luckily, she comes from a Portuguese immigrant family, and so they're built on hard work. So her dad always makes sure to remind her that it's good that I'm working hard, even when she really wants me to come home.
Well, it's hard, like in our business too, right? Self-employed people, it's hard that the outside world, I call it, 9-to-5ers, they don't understand that. And it's hard because it does affect family life. It does, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And things come up and whatnot, and hours could be 24/7. I mean, it could be like that for a couple of weeks at a time.
Yeah.
So I think that you got it balanced out with the flow. And I do agree with the flow. It's seasonal for us.
Yeah.
And it's probably just a flow for you as well.
Exactly. I mean, we have a wedding brand under our company that does wedding video and photography. And so obviously with weddings, like there's a season to that. And so May through October, like, yes, I'm definitely a little bit more busy. But that's the balance.
Yeah.
January, February, I can take the month off, I guess.
Yeah.
Might do that next year.
No, it's true. And that's honestly why I love spending time with Mike is you've got those 9-to-5 friends that, they admire my hustle, but if I have to step out of a girl's day or a family, event in order to take a call or to refix an offer, it's like, oh, okay, sorry guys, you are important, but time calls and I have an obligation, and Mike always gets it. He's like, oh, take that call. Was it good? Well, did you get it? Did you lock it in? And so I love that so much. And it's awesome to be able to connect with different self-employed or company owning individuals, because it really does go on beyond just real estate or advertisement, or we've pulled some people on here who are started from a family business and they just continued it, and that mutual understanding that without that drive, without that discipline, there would be a lot less services, a lot less resources out there. And so
I don't think people should be afraid, right? So people shouldn't be afraid to just go out and try it.
Fail. What's the worst that happens?
Well, and honestly, I don't think there's a fail on it when you're enjoying it, right? And just seeing other people you could support, you can contact, and people can give ideas. You don't have to be in the same service industry to ask how you're running your business.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's good to people can see you, and maybe they call up and say, well, I'm not really doing filming, but I'm doing this. And I'm your age where you were, and that's just what we can give and collaborate.
Yeah, I honestly, as I've like sort of gone on over the years of having a business, I actually really enjoy like when people reach out that are starting a similar business and they're looking for help, which is not common. It's, I would say, stigma or like a common thought that, you know, as a business owner, you have to be very like protective and competitive and like
Yes.
other people are your
100%.
competitors. But honestly, I feel like 110% the opposite.
Yes.
Somebody just emailed us like a week ago or so and said, "Oh my God, I'm starting a video production business. And I just don't know where to start. Like, I don't even know how to price my services or how to do this or how to build this website." And I didn't get back to them the same day, but you know, a week later, I finally sat down and wrote a long email back, and I'm like, "Hey, look, like, if you have any other questions, like, I'm happy to help."
I think it's important that people understand that we do collaborate, even though
Yeah.
we might be in the same business. We
Yeah.
collaborate because that is the whole purpose of it. There's enough business.
For everyone.
Oh my God, yes, thank you. I say it all the time, even in small little Rhode Island where we're based out of. Like, there's enough business to go around. Like, and not everybody's gonna want to do business with us anyway.
Of
Like,
course.
not because of, you know, they don't like us, but like they
No.
might like somebody else's style better.
Of
Their
course.
budget might align better with a different company. They might know this person a little better or whatever. We're gonna have our business, and they're gonna have theirs, and
If you're good, you'll never run out of business.
yeah,
If you're
exactly.
good and you're passionate, you'll never run out of that business.
It's I see this quote sometimes that says, competition happens at the bottom, collaboration happens at the top,
I love that.
which I really like. I
I
saw,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of
I
course.
definitely learned from you today.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you for inviting him.
Oh, of course. Of course. Thank you for coming.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, so our websites are focusforwardmedia.com and then neilanmedia.com. Our Instagram is just at focusforwardmedia and at neilanmedia. Focus Forward Media, again, we do video production, video marketing, media for businesses, and then Neilan Media is wedding video and photography.
Well, we'll definitely put out all this information on at the end of the podcast so people can see it too. But thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
wish you the
No,
best.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
And if you need to find Ivana or myself, you can find us at Coldwell Banker in Leominster. And please subscribe. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And we'd be happy to help you. But also give us some thoughts of other topics that you'd like to hear. We'd happy to bring on some guests. Or if you're interested, just reach out to us. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.